Good morning and welcome to the program. I'm your host, George Rideout, and as always, working the soundboard is Lynn. We are honored to have him. And forgive me if I don't get the pronunciations right. I'm not so good with pronunciations sometimes, but I'll give it my best shot. I know him as Uncle. I met him at the Indigenous gathering in Qilaut, the International Indigenous Leadership Gathering. His name, and I hope I do you justice, Angaangaq, is an Eskimo elder whose family belongs to the traditional healers of the far north from Kalaallit Nunaat, Greenland. His name means the man who looks like his uncle. Uncle, as he is frequently called, bridges the boundaries of cultures and faiths in people young and old. His work has taken him to 5 continents and over 40 countries around the world, including South Africa, North America, South America, Asia, Arctic Europe, Russia, and Siberia. As a traditional healer, storyteller, and carrier of a Qilaut, which is a Eskimo wind drum, I believe, he conducts healing circles, intensives, and sweat lodges, integrating the wisdom of traditional Inuit teachings from the unwritten healing traditions of the Eskimo-Kalaallit people. Uncle is an internationally respected elder for the native communities of the Circumpolar Arctic, North and South America, and Europe. He is a highly esteemed elder of the Canadian-based Four Worlds International Institute for Human and Community Development, the American Indian Institute, Traditional Circle of Indian Elders and Youth, the World Council of Elders, and the World Commission on Global Consciousness and Spirituality, acting as liaison to indigenous tribes. He is also an elder for the Aboriginal Justice Learning Network, Justice Canada, and elder advisor to the Board of Directors of the Canadian Institute for Conflict Resolution. Uncle is a keynote speaker at international conferences and symposia on environmental and indigenous issues. He participates in peace and spiritual vigils with the United Nations, speaking on panels for the United Nations Environmental Protection Agency, the Panel on Religion and Spirituality, the Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues, as well as the Panel for UNESCO's Oceans, Fisheries, and Hunters. His work is acclaimed in promoting interracial and intercultural harmony. Uncle is a member of the World Wisdom Council, an elder of the Tribal Link Foundation, and a member of the World Commission on Global Consciousness and Spirituality, acting as liaison to indigenous tribes. He is associated with the United Religions Initiative in alliance with the United Nations, the Club of Budapest International, the Masters Group, the Earth Restorations Corps, and serves on the Special Advisory Council to the Jane Goodall Institute. He is an elder in association with West Virginia University and speaks frequently at universities and colleges in North America and Europe, sharing healing circles with leaders of small villages and indigenous tribes from around the world is among his most rewarding work. Among the world healers and speakers Uncle has shared the dais with are Jane Goodall, Dr. Phil Lane Jr., who is the coordinator of the Four Worlds International in 4 Directions, Chief Oren Lyons, faith keeper of the Angaangaq Nation, Mercedes and Geraldo Barrios, Dr. Theo Pedres, and the Zulu spiritual leader Credo Mutwa. He is a dear friend of grandfather William Commanda, elder of the Algonquin Nation and the Circle of All Nations in Ottawa. And we are honored to have him as our very special guest here this morning. Are you there, Uncle?
I am here. I'm good. Today I'm really good.
Awesome.
I'm so happy to be with you today.
Me too. This is so awesome for me. There's a few places I'm just biting at the grip to go, but this kind of goes back to the Indigenous gathering at Qilaut. And I waited 2 days, and then I approached Chief Darrell Bob, and I asked him permission to approach some of the guest speakers, if it was okay to come on the show. And he gave me permission. But before he did, he asked me, he said, what kind of questions would you ask them? And I said, well, I'd ask them about their journey and how they got here and that sort of thing. And when he stops and looks down and he looks back up and he goes, maybe you should ask them about the gathering and what they thought of the gathering. So, with the Qilaut Leadership Gathering in mind, I'll ask you, what did you think of that gathering in Qilaut, BC?
It was an incredible gathering, and I've been traveling quite a bit. I am doing some work for the return of the sacrifice to the top of the world. And so I've been traveling for that for quite many years, and then I'm invited to this and that and over there and over here. And then I got the invitation to go up to Qilaut, and I told the people in my organization that I would be more than happy to travel, but I'm going to have to travel on my own schedule because I can't follow the agenda they have set, but that I would be there. So I flew to Vancouver and then got into a car and drove a beautiful drive through Whistler up to Qilaut. Mountains and passages are just unbelievable. And I landed there. And when I got there, it was just like coming home. It's just like I had not traveled any distance to be there. It was just such a beautiful experience to be there. And then, of course, the day went. You remember yourself what was happening in those beautiful, beautiful times we had. And to come home to a place you've never been to, it's very special. And to meet people you've never seen before, but known for a long time, is incredible feeling. And those are the emotions I was going through. And I just loved it. And it gave me such joy to be amongst those beautiful spirits who just welcomed me as one of them. My days there just went like, I never had to ask, where do you come from? I just knew that they came from within my community. So then, of course, and the circle, times for coffee and times to talk and then time to connect and then receiving a hug and a kiss by people who had no idea who I am and have no idea what is and who is. It's just so incredible.
Yeah, the whole energy, the whole dynamic of that gathering was just, I can't forget the food either. The food was we had such good food. I said to Chief Darrow when I had him on the program, I said, I went there hoping to lose a few pounds, but I think I came back gaining a few pounds.
I know. They didn't understand the importance of us losing weight. I agree with that. They just didn't. Yeah. But it was so beautiful, though, wasn't it?
Words can't express what was there and what was going on, and it's just hard to encapsulate that and share that with others, because if you weren't there, it's just so difficult sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to share with you something that for me was really special and why this is so amazing for me. Back at a gathering in 2004, at another indigenous international gathering outside of Toronto at a place called Hamilton, Ontario,
mm-hmm.
there was this little, and I don't remember his name, and I really wish I could, but in one of the evenings in the gym, there was this little old man and his granddaughter, and he was an Inuit or an Eskimo, I'm not sure which, because there were so many speakers, and I was there helping an elder, so I was, kind of in two places at once. But I'd sat down, and I started to listen to this old man play his drum mm-hmm. and sing. It touched me in a way that in 1990 I did a Chenrezig meditation with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, which is a heart chakra meditation, and it gave me that same feeling from the heart that just, tears were coming down. I could almost sing the song that he was singing, and it just touched me to a way that I remember coming home and saying, I have to go north. And I'm not a big cold person. I don't really like the cold that much. Mm-hmm. But I remember coming back and saying to my partner and telling her that, I may have to go north for a while and spend some time with these people, because this just touched me on such a level that I can't deny it. And then going to this gathering and first hearing you speak, and then being part of that circle that you did with your drum when you came around and touched everybody and sang for them, it gave me once again that same heart connection that, and I apologize if I begin to cry, but I just might, because it was so touching. And so I thank you and honor you for that.
Thank you. You know, this drum of mine is really an incredibly beautiful tool. I tell people that I go wherever she takes me. She has taken me to over 50 countries in the world.
Wow.
Yeah. You know how it happened? All the Eskimos on top of the world, we have, the only instrument we have is a drum. We don't have flutes. Now, of course, we have guitars, you know, because everybody loves Elvis. But the normal traditional instrument is a drum. And then we have, of course, the Inuit of Canada are famous for their throat singings. You know, those are the stories of the animals we live with, whom we miss in the wintertime when they come back. We imitate them and talk about the animals who have now come home and describe to them what we have seen. So there are many beautiful things. But the drum is the one which is so exciting. Yeah. We were invaded by many people, not to take over our land, but to take our lives. In my particular case, the Lutherans came in 1721 to look for the Vikings who have left for Greenland. They didn't find the Vikings, but they did find us. And we became part of their system. But that system took away the drums. But the stories never died. The songs never died. So back in 75, I asked my father at home, said, I want to be able to learn the drum. So he said, you know what to do then? I said, tell me what. You prepare yourself a little gift of your heart, and you give it to the one whom you want attention from, so you can be taught. If he accepts you, then he will. So I did in 1975 in April, and then they accepted me. But for 11 years, I studied and practiced the drum, but I was never given a drum for 11 years, until 1986 in June at a gathering of Spirit North in Qilaut in Baffin Island, which is now part of Nunavut. I was given a drum. 11 years old. You know, in between times, I would come home to Greenland, and I was saying to my father, you know, some of these old people, they have no idea what they're doing. They don't know that I can build the drum, I can drum, I can chant, and my father would put his finger to his mouth and says, shh, and he would say, patience, son, patience. I am so incredibly grateful to my father, as I am to the great one, that I had the patience not to break all these people who taught me. Wherever I went, they knew that Angaangaq is a student of the drum. It was before the time of telex and fax and emails, long ago. But everyone knew. It's like the news had traveled throughout. So whatever village I come to, they will know that I'm a student. So the elders will show me the drum. The elders will hand me their drums and say, show me. They wanted to know. So I would pick up the drum and I would prepare myself and I would go, and I would play the drum. And that's how I got my drum. 11 years. I am so happy today that I never gave in to my impatience. And now today I can truly say that I'm a carrier of a drum.